Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to our seminar on the most beautiful story. This is trying to understand Surah Yusuf, which Allah Himself calls Ahsan al-Qasas, the most beautiful story. So this is actually a divine name for and a description of this amazing story. So we're going to listen to the first ruku of Surah Yusuf. And Qasim is going to recite for us. Come on. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Yep.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Loud.
تلك آيات الكتاب المبين. إنا أنزلناه قرآنا عربيا لعلكم تعقلون. نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت 11 كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين وكذلك يجتبيك ربك ويعلمك من تأويل الأحاديث ويتم نعمته عليك وعلى آل يعقوب كما أتمها على أبويك من قبل إبراهيم وإسحاق إن ربك عليم حكيم صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah khair. So Surah Yusuf begins by first Allah saying that we are going to tell you one of the most beautiful stories which you didn't know before. Okay, so the Makkans, the Arabs, were unaware of this story. It is a story of the Bible, the story of the Jews. So the Makkans really had no clue of it and didn't pay attention. Well, they didn't know it. And then the next part is when Yusuf alayhi salam tells his father Yaqub alayhi salam the beautiful story, his beautiful dream. Okay, so what we're going to do, inshallah, in the next hour or so is to take you through the story. We'll gallop through its 20 episodes and then examine its miraculous nature, the way the story is told, and the ring structure of it, some of the motifs in it, and its style, its aims and objectives. Inshallah, we'll look at those, inshallah al-Aziz. So let's begin the most beautiful story. This forms a part of my work on making the Quran accessible to masses. That's what our aim is at Kareemia, to make the Quran accessible to everybody. So nobody has an excuse, I don't understand it. And it is one of the most enlightening and one of the most beneficial book for humanity. The Quran is the most beneficial and the most influencing, transforming book. And easy as well. That's the other thing, it's easy. So humanity desperately needs it, and that's why we're trying to make it easy. And Surah Yusuf I've taken as an example. We'll do other stories inshallah, but this is other surahs as well. These are some of the efforts that we've made to make the Quran more accessible and easy for everybody to understand. So we have hardback, paperback, Kindle version, an app of it, and we have the audio book of it. Now we have a summary of it as well. We also have a page for every day. So there's addition to these, 2 more versions have been added. And alhamdulillah, we're hoping to have a Quran for teenagers, inshallah al-Aziz. Or young people, we call it, really. It's the Quran for young people, yeah, no? So inshallah, there's lots of things in pipeline for making the Quran accessible. Okay, what's the aim of this seminar? First, read, learn, and enjoy the marvelous story. It really is a story that we should know. But the thing is this: people say, "I know Yusuf." Yeah, there was a woman called Zulaikha. Anything else you know? Yeah, brothers did something wrong with their brother. That's it. That's the story. That's the story. Astaghfirullah. That just shows you the ignorance, the level and the depth of ignorance. The beauty of it is in details. When you look at the story, the conversations, which in those 20 episodes of the story, there is amazing conversations, dialogues between Yusuf and others, between Allah and Yusuf, between Yaqub alayhi salam and his sons, and so on. It's just, that is where the beauty and the richness of the story is, and the lessons lie there. All it needs is about 15 minutes. You could just gallop through it. It's so beautiful. So next is to understand its moral, social and spiritual lessons. That after all is what we should be reading stories for. Particularly, practicing Muslims and serious students are always looking for, you read stories to learn lessons, okay? After all, that is the purpose of reading them. And finally, having this realization that Allah has control over all human situations, just as He had full control over Yusuf alayhi salam's situation. Okay, at every turn of the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, you see, hey, what's going to happen to him? Hey, he's thrown in. The brothers beat him up, and take his shirt off and humiliate him, and then you see what's going to happen to him. And Allah says to him, the Lord has Wallahu ghalibun ala amrihi, and Allah was always in command of his situation. Allah was in control of his situation. Yusuf wasn't alone. Yusuf was being directed. Yusuf was being put through these, but Allah is there to watch over us. Wallahu ghalibun ala amrihi. This is really interesting. Ghalibun ala amrihi. Allah is ghalib, dominant, and this is what we should recognize. And this Yusuf got used to this very early on. When he was thrown into the well, a revelation came to him. Allah said to him, Yusuf, we're in control of everything, and one day you will tell these brothers of yours what wrong they had done. Okay, so that was when he realized, he got that realization. And from there on, he could tolerate and he could be patient with everything. So that is the real aim. I hope, if we all get this realization here would be in some ways equivalent to marfa. Yes, recognition of Allah and realization of the power of Allah. That's marifa, really in its real sense. So if we could get that, wow, we're winners, Why read Surah Yusuf, Okay. Well, here are the different episodes. Yusuf's amazing dream. The surah opens with this. You all know that dream, and he says, Father, I saw that 11 stars were bowing to me, and sun and the moon were also bowing to me. The brothers hatch a nasty plot. They say, one says, let's kill him, let's get rid of this man, He's from their other mother, you see, so he's half brother. Let's get rid of him. We know brothers can be nasty to each other, so don't be surprised, and this is half brothers, okay? And they have a lot to lose, you see. Or they think, this is where their thinking is wrong. Look, could Yaqub make Yusuf the lord over them? Okay, that was their real fear. Greed, okay, and jealousy. So then Yusuf is thrown in the well. So they wanted to kill him, one. The other said, no, let's throw him away somewhere, banish him. So Yaqub never sees him again, get him somewhere else. And remember, this is what the Makkans were planning against the Prophet as well, when this was revealed. They were planning to kill him, or to banish him, or to imprison him, all right? They were planning this when it was revealed. So, but they then decided on, let's just throw him down the well and let some caravans take him away, okay? And Yusuf will get the message too. Well, once he's sold as a slave, he can't come back. He's bound by whoever takes him. So Yusuf is bought by Potiphar, who's the captain of king's private guard. So he's a very senior person on whom the king relies for his security. So he's a very top person, and he buys him as his slave, but has many hopes of him. He wanted even to adopt him as his son. But his wife, and soon, he takes over the household as a leader of the house, because why? Yusuf is a problem solver, not a problem maker, not identifier of problems only, but actually solves them, and he's very quickly, he takes over the household, which, 15, 20, 30 servants serving their master, and he's the head of the household. Can you see already, his impact? Where he goes, Yusuf brings beauty and goodness. He's so influential, so impactful, so impressive, all right? And that is what, good workers do, and, who are made proud by their bosses, whose bosses are proud of them. So, but what happens is, Potiphar's wife becomes, what's the word? She becomes, what's the word, Jana?
Enamored?
Enameled. No, yes, there's a very simple word, Jana. She has a crush, or what is it? Crush? Crushes on Yusuf, Jana. She loves Yusuf, Jana, okay? She tempts him, okay? That's where the real... and that is a beautiful passage. I hope you'll read it now. And rumors spread about Zulekha's sort of affair, okay, or tempted affair, but Yusuf, of course, is a man of God. He's modest, he's wonderful, and he avoids her. Then he turns to help for Allah, and then he's thrown in the prison where he preaches, which is really interesting, and he there also meets the baker and the butler of the king, the king's butler and baker. Then we have another 8 episodes where the king now has a dream. So you can see lots of dreams here. The butler had a dream, the baker had a dream, Yusuf had a dream, the king has a dream. This is amazing, And in all of these, it's not about dreams, not just as dreams. It's about visions, it's about goals, it's about the lives of these people. Seriously, it's about very serious business of life in all of these. So king has a dream which none of his courtiers could and ministers could interpret. So the butler who had been saved and Yusuf had interpreted his dream remembered, there's somebody who could do a good job of it. He went to Yusuf alayhi salam, and so Yusuf tells him what to do and interprets the dream, and even not only interprets but actually gives him a solution, economic plan, actually. This is what you should do for the next 14 years. It's amazing, not just for 5 years or 7, but 14 years. He gives him a strategic economic plan for 14 years. Then the king is very impressed, when he hears what he has told him and the way he had solved the problem as well. Not just told him, look, this dream means this. And he said, this is how you would deal with it. And the king is very impressed. He said, I want to meet this person, get him here. But Yusuf refuses to come out of the prison. What does he say to him? Go and tell your king, find out why I'm here, and I want my name to be clear and exonerated. This is the toughness of the Prophet of God. But he knew, look, if I go out as a prisoner, I still have accusation against me. I have a charge against me. I'm a guilty man. I'm a prisoner. Are you with it? I would have no respect. He said, no, I'm not coming out until my name is exonerated. Subhanallah. You can already see, the Prophet, man of beauty and character, already said, no, clear my name first. So the king does. King says, well, investigate about this. And the women say, look, he was pure, he was okay. Zulekha now admits she was at fault. So Yusuf is now exonerated, and Potiphar knows, the king knows that Yusuf was innocent. Are you with it? This is amazing. I hope, in every episode, there's at least 2 or 3 amazing points, of dignity, of human beauty. This is why it's so beautiful, this story. Then the brother, now there is a famine, okay? And the people in Canaan, Canaan is where Yaqub alayhi salam lives. It's almost about 800 miles away. You're looking at from Ramses and Cairo, where Yusuf is. So it's about a good 800 miles. But they hear that, the king of Egypt has got silos full of grain. The news spreads, okay, the Egyptians have got lots of grains. So people from all over the region come to buy. I mean, it's for them, they're selling it, okay? They're making business out of it, and then what happens? Brothers come. Yaqub sends them, go and get some grain from there, and so Yusuf gives them, he recognizes who they are. They don't recognize who he is, all right? And Yaqub then, but he tells them, look, you've got another brother, haven't you? Obviously, he's been talking to them and learned they've got another brother. Okay, well, he knows, of course, they've got his real brother, okay? So he tells them, can you bring him? In fact, you will get nothing if you don't bring him. That's a condition. So he puts a condition, you have to bring Binyamin, your other brother, otherwise you won't be allowed to come in. So Yaqub is not happy to let him go, but okay, he says he lets them go. And also Yaqub alayhi salam gives them advice for avoiding evil eye. This is really fascinating, the idea of evil eye there. And then Yusuf plans to keep Binyamin. Then we have some other episodes, the 4 episodes here. The brothers return home bearing the sad news that Binyamin stole the king's goblet, therefore he is now imprisoned in Egypt. Okay, so this obviously makes Yaqub even more sad. Right. Finally, the brothers come back again, and this time Yusuf alayhi salam reveals himself. It's me. Okay, and they are, of course, in a way shocked, with excitement, I hope, because they see, well, this is our brother, and he forgives them. That's the great forgiveness. Then he says, well, take my shirt, to give it to father and put it on his face. His eyesight will return. Do you realize something? How many times is the shirt mentioned now? This is the 3rd time. All right. Then Yusuf thanks Allah for the fulfillment of his dream. Then there are other episodes where Yaqub alayhi salam comes with his family, they settle in Egypt, and that's the beginning of the Israelites. The question actually the surah was answering was this. The Meccans asked the Jews, give us some questions that we can trap the Prophet. He can't answer them. So, ask them about the sleepers of the cave. Asked him about how the Israelites settled in Egypt. So that was one of the questions, and this surah is actually a reply to that. So how, and of course the Meccans had no clue, the Arabs were not interested in that story, so why would they know about it? So they the Arabs don't know about it. That's the way of trapping him. He won't be able to answer. Therefore you could say he's not a prophet. Are you with it? But the Quran tells an amazing story. Is everybody with me here? I mean, if we had time, we would actually read it. It's so beautiful it's worth reading, Jana. I'm not going to read it. I'll leave that for all of you to go home and read this beautiful story, Jana. So what makes this the most beautiful story? Really, it's the little details in every episode. For example, in the opening episode, Yaqub tells him he will be a problem solver. What will he be? When it says, يُعَلِّمُكَ تَعْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ, he will teach you how to interpret dreams. That's literal meaning. But Mufassirin say this ta'wil al-ahadith is really to solve problems. So Yusuf is a problem solver. Yes. And what makes anybody worthwhile as a worker? Hey Hamza? Sorry. What makes somebody worthwhile as a worker? If he solves? If you can solve the problem. Yeah, it's a problem. Not a, so can he solve problems? That's the question, So when brothers threw him into well, Allah consoled Yusuf. One day you will tell them about their conspiracy. I'm just giving you an example of every episode has these gems in it. It's so precise, and this is what makes it, as a short story, Short stories are very difficult to write, good short stories. They're more difficult to write big, long novels because you have to be very concise, precise, accurate. Okay, you don't have pages and pages. You've got to write very succinctly, and that is precisely what it's done. I asked ChatGPT about it, about the short story and its nature, and it really said that it is, absolutely meets all the criteria of Nobel Prize for Literature, the way it tells the story, Jana. Okay, it's just amazing. There are 12 characters in this story, all right? It's really interesting to know these 12 characters. Here they are, okay? So you've got Yusuf and Yaqub, the two main central characters, Yusuf and Yaqub alayhi salam. Then you have brothers and Zulaykha as the other two important ones. And then you have minor characters there. It's interesting to know those characters, so here are the 4 criteria that ChatGPT gives for a good story. Okay, these are the 4 criteria. It says Nobel Prize for Nobel Prize for Literature users. It's got to have outstanding literary merits. It's stylistic excellence. Stylistic excellence means its rhetorical devices it uses. Balagha. The balagha it uses, metaphors, metonyms, contrasts, hyperbola, and all kinds of small and minor stylistic tools, dozens of them. There's dozens that are used in Surah Yusuf. It's just amazing, So it has all those. The next is universal themes that resonate across cultures and times and ages. And that is precisely what the themes of Surah are. What are they? Well, first there's the theme of jealousy, isn't there? Brothers' jealousy, all right? There's the theme of patience of Yaqub, okay? There's the theme of modesty, very important, haya, These are very universal themes, and so on. The depth of human insight. It's really got to have the capacity to explore fundamental moral, life-saving questions, to do with human needs, human psychology, and there's plenty of those insights in Surah Yusuf, and exert lasting impact. Well, it's influenced our literature, it's influenced our poetry, it's influenced society. Everybody, there's some of the best poets all over in every language have used the story of Yusuf. Mir Muhammad Bakhsh in his Saif al-Muluk, Alam Luar. Yeah, everybody, even I don't know if there's any preacher who doesn't use Yusuf's story or episodes from it. So, in every culture, so in Punjabi, in Pashto, in Sindhi, there are stories about Yusuf alayhi salam. All poets have written stories because it's, so there you are, it fulfills all the criteria of the best Nobel story. I'm going to do this because of Imran is here. Outstanding literary merit and style, renowned in Arabic for its flowing rhythmic style and shortness. It really is amazing, employs a high level of rhetorical beauty. There's a lot of assonance and a lot of alliteration, which gives it the saj, the rhyming in it, because of that it rhymes. It weaves dialogue, narration, moral commentary seamlessly. I say, even the shortest episodes, you will see, even in shortest episodes, you will see dialogues, conversations, okay? Very rich conversations, they might be only 2-liner, but wow, they are so powerful, really. So Classical scholars called it model of clarity and aesthetic beauty. And stylistically, it foregoes the extensive setting descriptions or interior monologues typical in modern novels, yet succinct and powerful. It does do the foregrounding in a succinct way, masterly. It's brilliant. What about universal themes of it? Well, it's got jealousy, which is which actually underscores most of human misery in the world today. Battles, wars are because of jealousy. Yes. Betrayal. Yusuf is cast into well. Betrayal here means, those who are nearest to you, closest to you, from whom you cannot expect any kind of injury and hurt, they are the ones who are injuring you. You would least expect it from your brothers, and they are the ones who are doing it. So that's a betrayal, Jana. Again, a common theme in human society and stories, isn't it? Human misery, a lot of it is because of betrayals. People betray, in homes and in society at large as well. False accusations and injustice. So Yusuf is an example of miscarriage of justice, which again, British, you would think that Britain does have one of the best world class system of justice, but how many times is there a miscarriage of justice? How many times?
Many times.
Lots and lots of times. Yeah, lots and lots of times. Yeah, miscarriage of justice. It's happened in big cases here in the UK. It happens quite often, actually. Quite often, I've met people, who've faced those, miscarriage of justice. So that is the world-class system getting it wrong, all right? Moral fortitude, resisting seduction and maintaining integrity. I mean, that is a hallmark of Yusuf's life, from beginning to the end. His moral character, which is immaculate, perfect. He doesn't slip anywhere. He's just amazing. Forgiveness and reconciliation. Again, very important themes, aren't they, in novels and writings and stories.